Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another segment of Hawk Talk. I'm Cody Marshall, and I hope everyone enjoyed a safe and exciting 4th of July weekend. Again, we'd like to thank Stan Hootie and everyone at the Saratogian for allowing us to use their studio for the segment. A huge thanks also goes out to Joe Calderon for all the work that he puts in making this series what it is and helping to connect the fans of the Amsterdam Mohawks with the team. Through Monday, July 4th, the PGCBL standings, they've changed a little bit since our last show. The Amsterdam Mohawks are on top in the East Division, right where we want them to be at 17-9. In second place is the Oneonta Outlaws at 16-10 after losing last night. The Mohawks gained half a game on them, so they're a game ahead in the division. The Albany Dutchmen are at 14-14, and following them is the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs at 13-13. Those teams hovering right at 500, claiming the last two would-be playoff spots so far. The Saugerty Stallions come in at 10-14 in fifth place in the East, 6 games back. And the Glens Falls Dragons, although they're in last, have found quite the hot streak. They've won 3 in a row to climb to 9-17. And since the last segment that we had here, that team is 7-3. 8 games out of first place. In the West, the Utica Blue Sox, first team to reach 20 wins. They're 20-8. They lead the division, and they'll play the Amsterdam Mohawks in a battle of first place teams tonight. The Elmira Pioneers are in second at 18-10, 2 games back, and tied with them as far as games back, but not quite winning percentage, is the Newark Pilots at 19-11. The Jamestown Jammers are next at 15-13. They've gone on a little bit of a roll as well. 5 games out of first place. Then there's the Victor Rail Riders, the runner-up from last year, 11-16, 8.5 games back. And then you have the Geneva Red Wings at 7-20, 12.5 games back. And then the Adirondack Trailblazers at 7-21, 13 games out of first place in the West Division. Move to another segment, the good, the bad, and the ugly, listing a couple stats that obviously, as it says, good, bad, and ugly. It can be left up to interpretation. You might argue the bad is actually the ugly and the ugly is actually the bad. Either way, the good, since our first segment, two Mohawks have been named PGCBL Player of the Week. They are catcher Joe Genord from South Florida for the week of June 13th through the 19th. That was week 3 of the season. Joe, of course, had the walk-off home run against Mohawk Valley and has continued to swing a hot bat. He leads the team in home runs with 4. The shortstop, Tyler Frank, was just named PGCBL Player of the Week for last week, June 27th through July 3rd. That was week 5, and he's been quite a force defensively for the Mohawks. Playing the shortstop position, you expect a lot of errors just because of how many chances he gets, but he's been pretty sound in that department. He, of course, from Florida Atlantic University and was one of the Mohawks who competed in the NCAA tournament this year. Also, since that last segment, the Mohawks are 8-3, and that's certainly impressive considering they were 9-6 through the first 15 games, so they found some of their identity, but that leads us into the bad. After winning 5 games in a row, the Mohawks have dropped 2 in a row after holding leads into the 8th inning. The first was Saturday at Glens Falls at East Field, and then again at Shuttleworth Park on Sunday when they hosted the Adirondack Trailblazers. That segues right into the ugly. We mentioned that the Mohawks are 17-9 this season. Of those 9 losses, 4 have come at the hands of Glens Falls and Adirondack. They are, respectively, the last place teams in their divisions. The Mohawks are 5-4 so far against matchups against those teams so far this season. To kind of lighten it up a little bit on the flip side, against would-be playoff teams, the Amsterdam Mohawks are 8-4, and it's even more impressive when you consider that 3 of those losses are just to Mohawk Valley. So 8-1 against the other teams that would be making the playoffs right now so far. We'll be right back here on Hawk Talk with our special guest for this one and a word from our sponsor.
There's no better way to kick off the summer than watching some of Saratoga's bravest and finest going head-to-head on a diamond, and all for a good cause. It's the first annual charity softball game pitting Saratoga Springs Firefighters Local 343 against Saratoga Springs Police PBA. The game is Saturday, June the 4th, starting at 7 o'clock. Admission is $10, but children 5 and under get in for free. And all the proceeds benefit Jake's Help from Heaven.
After receiving some mostly positive feedback after our interview with Austin Keene, it was so good. New York Mets pitcher Noah Syndergaard decided to come on our show, and we just couldn't say no. Of course, I'm just kidding. While the long blonde hair is similar, joining us today is Mohawks first baseman Nick Patten from the University of Delaware. Nick, it's great to have you, of course. We wanted you on the first show. I messed up on the phone number. That's why you weren't there at the first one. But in addition to this show, we're working on also getting you an endorsement with Elmer's Glue to fix that home uniform because the 31 just keeps falling apart, and it seems like it gets worse and worse with every game. Through Monday, Nick is hitting .301. That's 28 for 93 with 6 doubles, 7 RBIs, and 5 stolen bases. He leads the team in hits and is tied for first with Joe Genord in at-bats. You've moved around quite a bit, and correct me if I'm wrong with this, these last few years with baseball. Originally from Butler, Pennsylvania. You go down to Florida your senior year for high school baseball, and obviously go to college in Delaware. Now you're in Amsterdam. What is that like moving that much in such a short time?
It's kind of hectic, just with everything going on, it just seems like I'm in a different place every day. But, it's great. I met a lot of great guys, throughout all my experiences, and it's just really a great experience, every place I go. It's, meeting new people, new coaches, new opportunities, and it's just been great.
Going to Delaware, there's a few notable Blue Hen alumni that come to mind. Joe Flacco, the quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens. Elena Deladon, who's currently playing with the Chicago Sky, and I believe won the MVP award last year. While you told me that you've never met Elena Deladon, you did say basketball was originally your primary sport. Tell me about what changed and how life took you down the baseball path.
Just basically, it was in between my junior, senior year. I was always really serious about baseball. And I was invited to the East Coast Pro Showcase in Ohio. And I met a guy from IMG Academy. It was actually Dan Simons. And he told me to come down, take a visit, look around and see how I liked it. And, just from that point forward, just I fell in love and, I wanted to pursue baseball.
And obviously, with the last name of Patton, your nickname amongst the team is the General. Coach Griffin has said that the best teams that he's coached are player-driven, not coach-driven. With that being said, is the General just a nickname, or do you feel like one of the guys who have taken upon yourself to lead this team?
I try to do as best I can with leading the team. Anything the team needs, I'm always there. I think a lot of it is nickname, but I think some of it also is just, me trying to step up and be the leader of the team.
So we'll move into our What the Hawk segment, and your brother, it was at dinner the other night, says you're not funny, but I think we're going to prove him wrong with this, so let's see how well we do. What's your walk-up song and why?
My walk-up song is Kick It in the Sticks by Brantley Gilbert. I really like that song. It just kind of gets me going, gets me, kind of in the zone and just ready to hit.
The ideal pitch for Nick Patten to hit is?
Probably fastball, middle away. I like hitting the ball the other way. That's probably my strength.
So fastball middle in could be our best opportunity to see the first Nick Patten whack of the season. Your celebrity crush?
Celebrity crush. Yeah, that's a tough one. They're all pretty good looking. Maybe Megan Fox still.
Okay.
Yeah, oldie but a goodie.
Favorite baseball team?
Favorite baseball team is definitely the Pittsburgh Pirates.
So they're struggling a little bit right now, trying to get back into that central race. The Cubs on a little bit of a losing streak, so they've been able to gain some games. You don't finish a meal at Recovery or at a restaurant in general. How long is Joe Genord holding it against you?
A long time. Long time.
Oh, he was picking on you big time the other day. You're only ordering 10 wings instead of 15.
Yeah, the old the Joe quote. I know you're not going to finish that, cuz. So.
The pitcher, past or present, who you would not want to face as a hitter?
I think Clayton Kershaw.
One song on your playlist that people would be shocked to know is there?
Shocked to know it was there. Probably Country Boy Can't Survive by Hank Williams Jr.
Do you have any superstitions before the game? Are you one of those guys who needs to do something in order to mentally think that it's going to be okay?
Well, I always wear the same sliding shorts and everything every game. I always fold my socks over my under socks.
Okay.
Over, just like overlap them.
Austin Keene said you had the best hair on the team. There have been some people who have argued that. Do you have any words for those people?
Trying my best. Trying my best to have the best hair.
Your favorite food?
Favorite food's probably steak.
Okay. The one thing you would tell people about New York if they had never been here?
It's not all about the city. You know, everybody thinks New York, and it's just, you know, the city and everything like that goes along with the city. But it's really not. It's really more than just the city, especially, you know, Amsterdam is not, you know, it's not what people would think about New York. Just a small town where, you know, everybody's friendly, everybody knows each other, and, you know, it's great.
Your favorite baseball movie, and also off that, your favorite all-time movie?
Sandlot's definitely favorite baseball movie, and Billy Madison,
Okay.
favorite movie all time.
Name the actor who would play you if there was a movie done on your life.
What's the guy from Sons of Anarchy? What's his name with the long hair?
I honestly don't even watch the show. I have friends that do. They'll probably hate me for saying this, but I cannot think of his name.
Yeah, probably
off
that
my
guy
head.
just because of the hair.
All right, we're going to look that up, and we'll have that answer. The funniest moment so far involving head coach Keith Griffin.
Definitely when he rolls out before the games.
Okay.
That's funny.
The funny thing was he was kind of picking on you a little bit. Talk to some of the guys. If a coach asks him what they think of Nick Patten, he's going to say, "Oh, he's a good kid, just had a bad haircut." That's all. And your favorite park in the PGCBL that is not Shuttleworth?
I like Socrates a lot. It's a nice field. It plays well. Pretty good atmosphere.
That's the Canton Memorial Field. The Mohawks have picked up a couple wins down there so far this season. Nick, we thank you for joining us on this segment. Again, view it. Any questions, certainly send them to me, or find a way to send them to Nick anyway. You're not on Twitter, but if you send one to me, I'll ask him if you really want to know the answer to it. We'll see which video can get the most views by the end of the season. Nick, once again, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.